Okay, hi everybody, Peter Vicari again. Here's just another little project in amongst all of the other ones that are going on. I'm fitting a Jabsco water filter, and I've mentioned it before I think, but it's something I've only thought of really quite recently. We've been putting just bottles of water into the middle of the boat, under the table here, under the kind of middle of the table there. Just buying bottles or refilling them, which is fine for drinking water, but I just fancied being able to drink it straight from the tank, which would be just more practical, less faffing about. So that's what I'm going to do. It's a fairly straightforward job, it looks like. I hadn't really appreciated that until I started doing some investigation, and I think it's going to be quite easy. Famous last words, but I'll get into it now. So first thing to do is to just pump out as much of what's in the tank, whatever's left of the antifreeze. So here's the water pump, foot pump, and here's the new filter that I'm going to be putting in. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a filter head here, or rather the kind of fitting that you screw to the bulkhead or to wherever you're going to put it, and you've got the inlet and the outlet. I've had a look at the instructions, and I believe this is in and that one is out, and you can rotate these to whichever direction you want them to be, up or down or roundabout. So it's very kind of nicely designed, thought out. It's going to go straight through this pipe here. I'm going to put it up somewhere around there, screw it to the bulkhead. I've got to be really careful that I don't make a screw holes that go straight through and end up coming out the other side, which would not be a good look. So I've got to make sure I've got screws, and I drill very carefully to make sure I don't come through where it'll be about here somewhere. Okay, right, so it's going to go about there. I don't want it too low or too high. I want to be able to get the pipe. I've got to cut this pipe then about here and lose this fixing that holds it to the bulkhead, and obviously the water will come up from below through the filter and then up into the sink via the tap. But I've got to be really confident that the flow goes in the right direction. Here we go, on the back of the filter here. So this whole filter comes off, as you'd expect. You can undo it and you replace the whole thing. There's nothing inside this that can be removed or changed, so you just buy a new one of these and fit it, and it's got a gasket there, an O-ring gasket. So here we go. Flow. Oh no, water can flow in either direction, so that's quite useful. So that's very flexible, very easy to work with. So I will have the top of I will have this left hand one coming out here. I'm going to screw it to the bulkhead there. I then got to cut the pipe, and I'm going to have to warm this up. It's very stiff, so I'm hoping that when I've cut this, and then I will have to warm it up to get it onto this. That's easy enough. I can use this screw and its height here to make sure I don't go too far into the bulkhead with the other when I fit this. Should be good. So this is old pipe. Of course, it's possible I might have to get some new pipe. It's very stiff. I think what I'll do is to screw this in place. It's the right height, it's what I want, where I want it to be. And then I will deal with, see if I can get that. Well, I'll put the screw holes before I screw it in place, but I'll put the yeah, that's, in fact, that old screw hole there is just about perfect for this. So I've found some perfect screws for this. They're the same lengths, but these are not countersunk screws, which is actually the right. So this is the right one. It's a proper, can't remember the term for them, but it's got the proper flat head on it. So I'll just screw that into that hole. So I'll mark that up. So I'm going to mark this drill bit. So I definitely don't go too far. Should do it. Right, so the screw holes are in place, but the next task really is to see if I can soften up that pipe. But that is something for next time. So episode 2 of putting this aqua filter, water filter on Jenny J, or in Jenny J. So we've got it all kind of coming together now. I've drilled the holes, and the pipe, which I cut in half, you'll see I have already done this first connection. I've warmed up the pipe, which softened really, really well, and I've got this really rather brilliant gas-powered soldering iron, really, but it's more than that, because it basically uses gas to create a very hot exhaust at the front here, which can be used on with a soldering iron fitting, or in this case it's literally just an exhaust hole, and I can just play it over the pipe as I did and warm it up. Obviously you've got to take care as you're doing that. It's incredibly hot, but as I was doing it I would feel the pipe with my hands, make sure it wasn't getting overly hot, and you know, very warm to touch. It became very, very malleable and was really easy to fit. But this bottom half here is still cold. You know, if I squeeze it, I can't move it. It's like it's so solid. So the next step is just to cut this bottom pipe so that it fits nicely up against there. So I'm just going to use a little hacksaw to do that on the cold pipe, which is perfectly easy to cut. So I've already put a Jubilee clip onto this bottom part, ready to secure it. The length is good, got a bit of play in either direction, so I just need to soften this all up now to get the pipe over the fitting. So just switch it on. You can hear it roaring away. You can see just a little glow in there. Right, here we go. Make sure I don't get the exhaust too close to anything else. Play it all around so it's not getting too hot in any one place. Yeah, look, I'm already squeezing it quite easily now. It's really barely warm to touch, but my goodness, is it a lot warmer than the interior of the boat. It was 4 degrees this morning when I came in here. I've got the heating on, as you might be able to hear in the background. Warm it up in here to a nicer temperature. Yeah, that's already quite. Just going to make sure I got it down low enough. The warmth. Obviously, if you're doing this in the Caribbean or something and it's 30 degrees, this may not be needed at all on an old pipe, but I don't know. Right, I'm going to turn it off, make sure it's off, try it, just lie it down there. There she goes, jolly good. That all sits in the right place, that's good. Do up the Jubilee. You know, that should be fine, actually, that should be fine. Just thinking I don't want to block the actual filter, being able to screw that on. I think that's fine. Okay, so that's all fine. It's lining up with the holes I've drilled, so I can now screw the unit in place. Fitted. It's all done. And for those of you interested, this is this soldering iron is a Lexivon. Here it is, Lexivon. It does work really well. You charge up the container here with butane, and you've got all these little fittings for doing various types of work. There's a kind of blade there, which obviously heats up. There's the kind of more regular soldering iron tips, like this round one, and the one I've used most, which is this. Yeah, and it definitely does a really good job where you've got no electricity. And as I say, for heating things, amazing. It really does an amazing job. You know, you just got this exhaust port basically, and it's even got kind of something to kind of put round pipes, I suppose. This one, yeah, really good. Comes with solder and various different bits and pieces. Yeah, very effective device. So, one last thought. How am I going to avoid getting antifreeze into the new filter? I think it's a pretty straightforward process. I'm going to remove the filter first and prop, say, a bucket or some small container underneath the head. Then I'll put a few litres of fresh water into the tank and pump all that through, just cycle it through, both into the bucket under the sink, through the head of the filter, and obviously to the heads as well, to the basin in the heads, and cycle that process through 2 or 3 times, just kind of putting 5 litres of water in at a time. That way, kind of just making sure all of that antifreeze is pushed through the system completely. Then I put the filter back on and fill the tank up for the new season. That should be it.